I once killed a man and took his boots. They were nice boots.
What? You killed someone just for a pair of boots?
Of course not. There were other reasons. I also took his cloak.
Listen carefully. Once you fall asleep, you'll be transported into your first nightmare. The nightmares are sort of like trials, challenges created by the spell. Once inside, you'll meet monsters, horrible creatures who will test you, fight you, try their damnedest to break you. But you'll also meet people. They aren't worth trusting either. Your best bet is to fight for yourself. Remember, they are not real. They're just illusions conjured up to test you.
Aspirants, welcome to the nightmare spell.
What? What the actual fuck? Speechless, Sonny stared at the runes, trying to convince himself that he was maybe just seeing things. Surely he couldn't be that unlucky. Right? No useless aspects, my ass. As soon as this thought appeared in his mind, he lost the rhythm of his steps and stumbled, pulling the chain down with his weight.
also gets an attribute named Faded, and that will come into play later, so just remember that. Detested and trying to shake it off, he gets into a conversation with the people around him. This is where a man warns everyone not to harm Sunny, because he's not just a regular temple slave, he's a temple slave to the shadow god. The other slaves laugh it off, and then Sunny was offered water from one of these slavers. His name is Oro, remember that for later.
I don't expect you to forgive me. This sin too will be mine to bear. Please, if you can, find it in your heart to understand. If things were different, I would have gladly faced those monsters and let you escape. My life does not belong to me alone. There is an unencompassable duty that I'm sworn to fulfill. Until it's done, I cannot allow myself to die.
There is nothing more pathetic than a slave who begins to trust his slaver.
There was a forlorn look on his face. A moment later, however, it was gone, replaced by mirth. But then I changed my mind. Somewhere along the way, I decided to survive. I must survive, no matter what. Hero gave him a thoughtful look. To live a life worth remembering? Sunny grinned. A dark gleam appeared in his eyes. No, to spite you all. Is this? With wide eyes and a pale face, he turned to Sunny. Was that thief right? Did you put the curse of the shadow god on us? Sunny sighed. I wish that I had the ability to throw divine curses around, but no. To tell you the truth, I don't have any abilities at all. Then, how? The young slave shrugged. That's why I poisoned you all.
A nameless slave ascended the Black Mountain. Both heroes and monsters fell by his hand. Unbroken, he entered the ruined temple of a long-forgotten god and spilled his blood on the sacred altar. I guess this is the end, he thought, resigned to his fate. But at the last second, suddenly, the voice of the spell resounded in the dark temple. You have offered yourself as a sacrifice to the gods. The gods are dead and cannot hear you. Your soul bears the mark of divinity. You are a temple slave. Shadow God stirs in his eternal slumber. He sends a blessing from beyond the grave. Child of shadows, receive your blessing.
Glorious, your treachery truly knows no bounds. Dreamer Sunless, you have been bestowed a true name, lost from light. All power has a price. You have received a flaw. Your flaw is clear conscience. Flawed description. You cannot lie. Can't lie. I can't lie. Me. How am I supposed to live if I can't lie? Sunny already knew that he was in for a wild ride, because he could not lie, and all of these excited youths, regardless of their clothes, gender, and looks, wanted to do one thing: talk. Every one of them wanted to talk with fellow sleepers. They wanted to discuss their nightmares. It's a nightmare, Sunny moaned, disturbed and fearful. I'm doomed. Then, with a bit of grim determination, he gritted his teeth and slowly exhaled. Just think about it as a continuation of your trial. You survived the Black Mountain, so you can survive this too. He had faced heroes, villains, monsters, and even gods. Was he going to be afraid of a bunch of teenagers? He might have underestimated how scary teenagers can be. In half an hour, pretty much everyone in the room hated his guts. He was slapped a few times and even punched once. He also discovered a couple of new things about his true self, namely that deep down inside he was apparently rude, arrogant, and more than a little bit lustful. Unperturbed, he found a quiet corner and stood there, glad that no one wanted to talk to him anymore. His face hurt, and there was blood dripping from his nose. Being ostracized from a group was nothing new, but it still stung. Hidden in the corner, Sunny grinned as he observed the sleepers. This is good. This is great. This is something I can work with. After all, one didn't have to lie to deceive a person. Sometimes truth was the best material for creating deceit. If used with a certain devious type of intelligence, truth could be as misleading as lies. Sunny didn't forget what his main goal was: to make sure that no one ever finds out his true name. To achieve that, he had to create an impression that he was the most pathetic, weak person in this whole building. Someone who would never receive a positive appraisal, let alone a divine aspect and a true name. However, since this would be a lie, he couldn't just go and say it. So how was he to convince everyone that he definitely did not have a powerful aspect and an impressive record with the spell? His eyes fell on a particular group of sleepers. There were 5 or 6 of them, gathered around a tall, confident young man. The young man had brown hair and a gentle, handsome face. His eyes were green, with a hint of friendly humor. His posture, figure, and attentive gaze betrayed someone who went through extensive training. Everything about the young man screamed of nobility and strength. Just at that moment, one of his companions was saying with a tone of amazement, Ascended. You have received an ascended aspect. What? Sunny was expecting to first look at the place where his arrival to the dream realm was going to take place from above, just like it had happened at the beginning of the first nightmare. Back then, time had magically moved in reverse, giving him an opportunity to see hints of what he was going to face. Instead, immediately after hearing the greetings of the spell, Sunny found himself blind and drowning. As he instinctively tried to open his mouth to scream, salty water rushed inside, making him choke and twitch. More than that, he couldn't see anything. No, it's not that he couldn't see. It's just there was no source of light around. Usually, darkness wasn't a problem for Sunny, but for some reason, his sight wasn't working anymore. Maybe the seawater he was submerged in was blocking it. If it wasn't for the special space perception that the affinity to shadows gave him, he would have been completely disoriented. With its help, though, he barely managed to understand which side was down and which side was up. Luckily, Teacher Julius's lessons had included swimming. Swearing to thank both the old man and Master Jet once he came back, Sunny forced himself to stay calm and began to swim upward. In a few long and tense seconds, his head broke through the surface of the water. Sunny was finally able to draw in a deep, hoarse breath. Breathe, breathe. You're still alive. After sucking in enough air to soothe his burning lungs and compose himself to a certain degree, Sunny carefully spun in the water, trying to take in his surroundings. What met him was an endless, jet-black expanse of undulating waves. Above them was an empty black sky. There was no moon, no stars, just a dark vastness of repressive nothingness. Sunny blinked a few times, cold dread taking hold of his heart. This is a sea, an ocean? Was I dropped in the middle of an ocean? No, it couldn't be. There had to be solid ground somewhere nearby. As he was gripped by a momentary panic, a remote sound suddenly drew his attention. Sunny turned around and saw a triangular dorsal fin moving in his direction. Luckily, it was still hundreds and hundreds of meters away. Wait, if it's so far away, then how come I can see it so clearly? Despite being submerged in water, Sunny still felt like there was suddenly cold sweat all over his body. By his estimation, that dorsal fin was at least 5 meters tall. It was rapidly approaching, growing visibly larger with each second. Damn you, spell! With eyes full of horror, Sunny spun again, desperately trying to find something, anything, to save him. And there, a short distance away, he finally noticed a black mass protruding slightly above the water. Not wasting even a second on thinking, he started to swing his arms and legs, swimming in the direction of the black mass with a considerable speed. However, no matter how fast he swam, the giant shadow of the unknown creature was closing the distance between them much faster. A small part of Sunny's mind managed to preserve its rationality even when faced with this boundless, primal fear. Not allowing himself to slip entirely into panic, Sunny tried to think, and then silently commanded his own shadow to wrap itself around his body. Instantly, his speed increased twofold. Just seconds before the unknown colossus got to him, Sunny reached the black mass, stretched out his hands, and pulled himself out of the water. He rolled away from the edge, scratching his skin on the uneven rocks, and jumped in fright when the whole surface underneath him shuddered, as though something massive had collided with it. As Sunny backed out, terrifying jaws appeared from the water, with rows and rows